Protectors or perpetrators? Hey y'all, welcome back to Tidbits with Day, where we break down political and cultural issues affecting women into bite-sized pieces. Today, my heart is very heavy, as it has been for a very, very long time. As I'm sure we all have heard by now, ICE has once again executed another human being in Minnesota this past weekend in cold blood without recourse. Rest in peace, Alex Preddy. The last thing Alex did while he was still alive was defend a woman from a violent ICE agent. This heart-stopping fact made me remember the glee and absolute joy on the previous ICE agent who killed Renee Good. That is not a coincidence. This is a perfect yet gut-wrenching display of the great patriarchal lie. You see, under white supremacist patriarchy, men are promoted and advertised as the natural protectors, that they are necessary in society because them and them alone can protect us from the predators that seek to harm women and children. The only thing wrong with that is the predators who seek to harm women and children are more often than not men themselves. The data shows men are actually more often to be perpetrators of violence against women and children than any other group. So that gives me pause. And I must ask the question, can the same group of people who is supposed to be our God-given protectors also be the predators? And if so, how? Well, in this white supremacist patriarchal construct, you are only protected under the societal rule if you do not betray your race or your gender. Renee Good and Alex Preddy did both. White conservative men believe they are able and allowed to enact violence against whatever group of people that they deemed lower than them. Alex intervened in that. He is seen in their belief system as a traitor to his gender. As a white, cisgender, straight, heterosexual man, he was supposed to stand by why they assaulted that woman. That's their right. How dare you step in and inhibit us from enacting violence on whoever we deem fit? Renee Good was a race traitor. She is a white woman who stood with brown and black immigrants. She stood in support of them. White conservative men, they believe that they are allowed to be hateful and violent to human beings of different races that they see as less than. In any action they deem you intervening in that, you will lose your life because you're not needed for them anymore. If you're not going to uphold the white male patriarchy, you deserve to die. And that is what has been demonstrated in Minnesota with these two specific murders. The patriarchy not only lied to women, it also lied to men. And it gave them the promise that you have identity, safety, and value as long as you are loyal to your gender above all. And the second you step out of line, we will take you out. Alex didn't care. He stood for what was right. He stood for liberation. He stood for integrity. Rules be damned. Alex put his life on the line to protect that woman. And they took his life because of it. Conservative men have this mental tweak out because they believe that if you see other groups of humans as worthy of your fight for justice and worthy of your activism, you are weak. They call them pussies or cucks. I hate those words, but that is what they call men like Alex, men of courage, men of principle. You're weak. You care for someone we think is 1/8 a human? You're of no need to us. Only focusing on the racial aspect of these tragedies does not tell the full story, which is why over here at Tibbetts, we preach about intersectional feminism and intersectional advocacy. As a reminder, intersectional feminism is the theory that every part of a person's identity plays a role in how they will be received in society. Nothing exists in a vacuum. And these slayings of innocent civilian lives are no different. We are sadly living in a conservative man's wet dream. The slaying and the killing and the violence against people they hate, people whose ideology they disagree with, people they refuse to try and understand and see the humanity in. They believe we should be dead. We should cease to exist. And if we must exist, it must be at the service of them. In these ICE executions and everything that is currently happening with this administration is not void of the patriarchy. It is actually the motivation behind it. Conservative men believe in the great replacement theory. They believe that people of different races and different belief systems are coming to take them and enact retribution for the centuries of violence they have rained down on not just this country, but this world. So while it might not be obvious how patriarchy plays a part, I hope me explaining it a little bit gives you a bigger picture as to what's truly at stake. I beg you to not allow the lives taken by ICE be in vain. If you are not currently boots on the ground in Minnesota, in the description below and the link of our Instagram bio, there are ways to support this movement. These are verified hubs to donate financial resources to our comrades in Minnesota so they can continue to fight for our liberation. Please, please give if you are able. Comment down below. Did you have any other observations that may have not yet been mentioned that stuck out to you with everything that's been happening in January in Minnesota? How are you getting involved in doing your part to fight for our democracy and our liberation as a collective people? The only wrong answer is nothing. At this point, anything goes and everything counts. Deep breath, friends. We will get through this. I believe that. I know it probably sounds cliche, and I understand your pause, but I do believe we'll get through this. I do. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell to get a reminder every time I upload a video. And if you could like, comment, and share with your networks, that would be super helpful in assisting with the growth of our community over here. And as always, friends, please stay curious.